In this video, I'm going to show you how I turn my bathroom into a hot yoga studio. For your information, this bathroom measures 5 feet wide, 11 feet long, and there's only 3.5 feet of floor space, which is just barely enough to do a Bikram yoga series. So the first thing you want to do is figure out how you're going to heat up your room. You want to make it as small, you want the room as small as possible to maximize the heat. And I'm going to give you actually two ways of heating up your room. The first way that I've been doing for quite some time is I've been using just these small little electric heaters. And one of these heaters will get you up to about 80 degrees. You really need two of these heaters to get you up to that premium 105 degree heat. So what I've been doing is I plug in one of these heaters into the outlet. You can only plug in one heater per outlet because it just pulls up too much amperage, and either you will blow a fuse or possibly start a fire. So what I've been doing is I run an extension cord out to the hallway, and I run another electric heater off that circuit. So you have two electric heaters on two separate circuits. That's really key if you're going to do it the electric way, is to have two electric heaters on two separate circuits. So if you run a heater out to the hallway, you could probably have to use an extension cord. If you're super lucky, your heater will fit underneath the thing will go underneath the door and you'll be able to hit it that way. But more than likely, you have to use an extension cord. So if you use an extension cord, you have to be really careful, because I actually had a pretty bad major malfunction. This is what happened to me. I was running this extension cord, and as you can see, I had a major meltdown. What happened here is I bought this extension cord, and it was a little bit too thick and a little too brawny. It was a 3-prong, or you can't even see that anymore, but it was a 3-prong extension cord. So what I really recommend doing is, if you run the extension cord, make sure that you use a new extension cord, and that there's no gap in between here, that it fits in real tight and nice tight seal. What happened with this one, I pressed it in, it didn't quite fit properly, and it kind of worked its way out and started arcing. And when I walked in the room, the whole room was filled with white smoke, and there's little pieces of plastic shooting off everywhere. It was a total mess. But luckily, it was on the tile floor, and there was nothing flammable near this to ignite. So I really dodged a bullet. And I just want to warn everybody that if you do use an extension cord, you have to be extremely careful where you place the connection, and make sure there's nothing flammable around it, and be really careful. Make sure you use a nice new one. And as you can see, make sure the seal is real tight. There's no way it can start arcing on you like what happened to me. You don't want to start a fire. I don't want anybody writing in and telling me they started a fire because they watched this video. So this is an excellent warning. Now, so after this happened, I decided, well, I got to start looking around. Maybe there's some other alternative I could use. And I've really found the ultimate. This is called Mr. Heater Portable Buddy. This thing is awesome for anybody who wants to do hot yoga in their house. I think this is the way to go. It puts out 9,000 BTU. A BTU is a British thermal unit. And it's just a way of measuring heat. And this actually puts out the most heat of any portable heater on the market. And it runs off propane. And you're thinking, well, propane is going to be expensive. Well, it's actually really super cheap. Because what I do is I bought an adapter, and I refill these bottles from the large propane tank off your gas grill. And it pennies on the dollar. So actually, when you run this thing, it's super cheap and real easy to use. It's indoor safe. There's no problem with propane or anything. And as you can see here, I put it on high for about 15 minutes, and then after that it just gets too hot. So then I have to settle it back down to low. And the only reason I don't use two of these heaters in this room is that I think it would just get too hot. It's awesome. I would recommend this thing to anybody who wants to do hot yoga in their house. This is the way to go. So I use one of these, and I use another electric heater. That helps the heat circulate around the room, make sure both sides of your body are warm. For the yoga, what I've been doing, I use this garage mat. This thing, for me, is perfect. It's not too soft where I'm going to lose my balance, and it's not too hard that it's uncomfortable. It comes all apart, which is really convenient, so you can put it in the shower You want to make sure that if you do get one of these, you want to get the little side strips, helps keep it together. And also you want to put it upside down. Put the grippy side down on the floor. That way it helps it not slide around, so it stays in one place. And then all I do is I put this all together, and then I put a yoga mat on top of that, and then I put my towel on top of that, and then I have my yoga platform, as you could say. Another thing you want to do is you want to insulate your room. So what I've done is I put weather stripping down here to make sure that the cold air doesn't come in and the hot air stays in. Or you can also just roll up a towel and put that down there as well. With your electric heaters, you want to make sure that you keep them away from the door. They all have thermostats on them. If they get too hot, they will overheat and turn off. So you want to make sure that you keep good circulation around these heaters. Don't let them get too close to the door because the heat will reflect off the door or the walls and get them too hot and turn them off. And I like to use this electric heater and the gas heater because this helps circulate the heat as well as keep heat on both sides of my body because it's kind of a narrow room. If you're new to yoga, this is the book I would recommend, Bikram's yoga class. This 26 series postures is like magic to me. I think this is just brilliant. This is the yoga that I do. This is the yoga that I love. I would definitely recommend this book to anybody that'll go to maybe find one of his studios and take a couple of classes first. You can kind of get the hang of it, but this is the way I go. So hopefully I've covered some of the points for you. If you have any questions, just post them on my page. Have a nice day. Namaste.